because I'm conscious of the time. Tim Lewis / Saka contract. Let's do this thing. That's the wrong timestamp. Okay, we have that. But yeah, man, let's start looking at what's being said, people. Again, don't forget we're going live straight again. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Put that back. Thank you. What are you doing? Obviously, shout out Chelsea for getting Nkunku, but no one don't care about that. I didn't Phil Foden sign a new deal the other day. Phil Foden's getting a new deal at City. What matters to Arsenal fans? Tim Lewis to spend, and obviously, first things first, yeah, it's very shit, but you know, Football Mirror Society, we got to talk about this. RIP to the 174 people who died in an Indonesia stadium tragedy. I mean, yeah, thoughts are with them. There's what more can you say? It's horrible news to want to hear, in it. So yeah, thoughts are with all the sufferings. Thank you for the love on that. Big up the Adidas extension. We're gonna get wavier kits in it. What can I say, man? I'll be here for the wavy kit thing. But yeah, on a rather serious note, Tim Lewis to spend more time on Arsenal. Scrolling all the way down, the Kroenke family have encountered mixed fortunes throughout their involvement at the Emirates Stadium, but since taking full ownership in the summer of 2018, the Americans have become more hands-on, and the intention to be that way was made clear when they appointed close associate Tim Lewis to the board 2 years later. Lewis was named as a non-executive director and juggled the role as a partner at law firm Clifford Chance. The Athletic can reveal that Lewis has now resigned from the latter position and will place greater emphasis on his work with Arsenal. Lewis had occupied his Clifford Chance post since 2010, but will be dedicating more time to his increasingly important job at the Premier League side. Lewis's arrival at Arsenal formalised a long-standing link with Stan Kroenke and his company KSE. Between 2007 and 2018, he advised Kroenke on the gradual investment into the North London side, from an initial 9.9% stake purchase from UK broadcaster ITV through to the full takeover. It was an 11-year project during which Lewis earned Kroenke's trust. Scrolling all the way down. Since joining Arsenal, Lewis has been tasked with overseeing the restructuring of their debt as well, which could be great to go with qualifying for the Champions League. Maybe the purse strings can start doing the thing, and we can spend more money, as well as an extensive cost-cutting exercise that led to a number of redundancies. He has formed a strong working relationships with the likes of Mikel Arteta and Edu, and has become a highly influential figure at the club's Highbury House offices. Lewis is also said to be a vocal presence in Premier League shareholder meetings, underlining his rising prominence inside and outside of Arsenal. Fair enough. It's not yet clear whether Lewis's greater emphasis on Arsenal will result in a new job title. They have been without a chairman since the retirement of Chips Keswick in May 2020. Arsenal have also experienced some good news regarding their performance. Is likely to remain at the club. Reports suggested he would be off to newly promoted Nottingham Forest as a replacement for their head physio, who has joined fellow Premier League side Southampton. But Murphy, who moved from Forest Midlands neighbours Leicester in July last year, looks set to stay, people. So, yeah, man. Man said at 100k subs, will you reveal your real name, DG, or remains intentional? Man of mystery. I mean, my name's out there. If you know, you know. CJ, Cody Jamal. But yeah, let's keep it a mystery. I would love to say I'm a mysterious dude, but I ain't got no mystery around me, man. But yeah, it is what it is. Keeping up with. Sorry, Volcano, why's your comment not coming up? Thoughts on the rumors that Kroenke looks to buy more football clubs? I'm for it. I'm for it. Because that means we could obviously share expert. We could obviously try to get work permits if we're talking about players. We can make money in local markets. We can find players in local markets. We can share scouting, coaching, expertise between Arsenal and other parties. We can probably loan out coaches there. We can bring coaches over here and they can learn stuff. Obviously, marketing points of view, all of these sort of things. I'm for it, man. I'm for it. And obviously, if we can loan out players and get around work permits and try and find players of tomorrow and make money and things like that, who wouldn't want to do that? Arsenal must cash in on their dream start to the Premier League season. It's the perfect time to tie down Saka, Saliba, and Martinelli, as we should, all contracted until 2024, all excelling in the young side. Not just him, several others, man, really. I mean, he's spoken about the early start to the season. We all know that. What's the point getting involved in that, people? The The priority is to extend Saka's contract. There is confidence from Arsenal that a deal for the England international to be extended by at least a further 3 or 4 can be struck. He needs a 5-year. His agent's playing a blinder there. A contract which would make Saka one of the best paid players at the club has been formally offered, but is yet to be signed. The offer would guarantee Saka close to 200k a week, a huge amount for a 21-year-old, but there are a few things Saka should consider before he signs. Boy, obviously you could join better clubs. You know, Arsenal might not get in the Champions League and all of them things. That's right. Saka's personal investment in taking an executive box at the Emirates should serve as an encouragement that he's fully invested in life at Arsenal. The club also sees extending Saliba's contract as a priority. Obviously, he's been getting rave reviews from everyone as well. And he's also said Martinelli's got an option of another year, but you can also expect the wheels to start moving on an improved contract for Gabriel Martinelli in the not too distant future. The Brazilian is fast emerging as one of the most important players in Arteta's team. His pace and directness, a key facet in the club's excellent start. Careful, they were saying that, you know, Saka's getting burnt out by Arteta. Saliba's not going to get a chance. Martinelli needs to leave. It's crazy. I mean, I don't think he wants a release clause, but I mean, naturally, if we don't go to where we need to go to, then you can expect City and all of these teams to be involved with him. Obviously, being signed to a 3-4 year deal is great because in every 18 months, there's going to be talk of a new deal and he deserves it. And obviously, Champions League football, competing for titles, you know, Arsenal, he's come from Arsenal's academy, he's played for us week in, week out, but it's easy to say you want to stay at Arsenal for life when you're a young player like that. It's very different when you start to think about trophies or you're in your mid-20s and things. Right now, it's the place to be, but, you know, I can't, same way Saka's I've been telling Ramsdale and England duty about what life at Arsenal's like. Of course, Saka's asking what Pep's like, what Champions League football's like, etc. And for him, the longer you keep running, even Ethan Nowari as well with his scholarship stuff, the longer you run it down, the more the club's going to have to, you know, give you what you want. Saliba's doing the right thing. You're playing. Hopefully you keep playing. You might go to a World Cup. Teams in Europe are all monitoring you. You're in a stronger negotiating position. And you got the best of both worlds. You're playing at Arsenal. It's very different from if you're on the bench and things like that. He's playing. You know, you've got to deserve it. You've taken your chances. So it makes sense. And Martinelli the same. If I had to say, I'd say I'm the most confident about Martinelli just because it seems like he's a bit more naive and we have a stronger position there. I do think Saka will sign a new deal. I think we will get there with Saliba, but the club has to be braced to sell players really and truly. And if you tie all of these guys down, of course you want to see them reach maturity. But look at Liverpool. Coutinho weren't there to do what they was doing. Maybe we'll have to sell one of these three and reinvest and we keep it moving really and truly. And not just them, any other players really and truly. So yeah, man. Sportsmail understands there's been admiring glances at Martinelli from Arsenal's top 4 rivals in recent months. Chelsea among the clubs believed to be monitoring the 21-year-old because he always sits people down on their backside. And probably when they were scouting for Fana, you know, half of Fofana's defensive transition highlights have to be Martinelli making him dance. So why not, man, really? Well, you lot got hot to the day in that, though. But yeah, persuading the trio to sign long-term deals at the Emirates is subject to varying factors, none more so than qualifying for the Champions League. Again, you know, they're all becoming emerging talents at international level as well. It looks inconceivable that Arsenal will not finish in the top 4 this season. I don't know about that because mathematically everything can still happen. The club intend to spend again in January with a new central midfielder on the radar. Hopefully we bring something in. Arteta is taking Arsenal's involvement in the Europa League seriously, but expect to see the Spaniard rest key players during the group stages of the tournament as he prioritizes the Premier League. Players are also taking responsibility for fitness into their own hands, with a number understood to have employed private trainers to ensure their bodies are fully functioning from week to week. That's good because you're taking it on your own hands. Apparently Kane's got one of them. Okay. Arteta and his players are leaving no stone uncovered in ensuring their Premier League challenge does not fade. But if somehow capitulate, you do wonder what knock-on consequences. I mean, the young players would be part of it. But yeah, man, you'll have to keep going. Apparently, armband or no armband, Xhaka remains one of Arsenal's lieutenants. Ask many at the club's training HQ, and they will tell you he is the club captain in all but name. Odegaard, you got to make yourself that, and we did already know that. Apparently, at halftime on Saturday, the midfielder is understood to have apologised for his role in what led to Tottenham being awarded a penalty, which obviously he did have a hand in it. And I like to see that we all make mistakes. Puff out your chest, puff out your chest, put your chin up, and we go again. Mistakes happen. No one tries to make mistakes on purpose. We keep going. In previous years, we've looked at them mistakes, and that's where Arsenal's crumbled and people who have hidden. We keep going. So yeah, it's a good article, but you didn't really learn much. What's the time? We should be live as well. So yeah, that's that. We do have to go live on the other live stream as well, where again, don't go anywhere, we'll be there. Let's deal with a couple of questions before we set that up as well. Long time DG. Boy, big up Eric Ten Hag. I don't know, because Saliba's got a year left on his deal. Well, in the summer 2024, do you rate Marcus Alonso? Not really, not now. Foden will earn the same amount, so it makes sense. Them man got different P's, bro. Off topic, but Kroenke's Denver Nuggets pay their mascot 60K per week, the most in NBA. Gunosaurus needs to ask for the bag. Yeah, he does, man. He does still. Don't want to mess up the partnership, but Gabriel's making too many mistakes. It's true, but is what it is. DG, did you win that game or did Spurs just lose that one? Like to think we won it because we got 3 points. But yeah, as they did with Spurs, as they did with Brentford, as they did with Palace, talk up these teams. We play them, and then rather than focus on the middle in that both teams had good or bad moments, we focus on how these teams were poor. Not that Spurs were deployed in any other way than they have played in the Premier League so far this season. Only difference is there's no Kulusevski. But who cares, man? Come on, 50,000 subs and that. Who cares, man? Bro, Saka, you got one career in it. You got one career. If you want to leave, if you feel that you can't develop here anymore, if you feel you've outgrown your surroundings, keep it moving. I don't care about a single player leaving this club. It's about the knock-on effects. Saka leaves tomorrow. Make sure you've got a bad boy winger in the club, innit? Then it's cool. Martinelli leaves. Make sure you got a bad boy guy that can play there. If Saliba leaves, make sure there's a centre-back that's levels. It is what it is. I can't lie. I've seen Thierry Henry leave this football club. As much as I like these players, these men can't do nothing, man. Man. What kind of wages can we offer Saliba? I don't know. He needs to see, if he keeps developing. For me, I wouldn't quite say highest earners, but if I'm him, I'm trying to get a 3-year deal with an option of a fourth, just because in the next 18 months,